Hello, hello. Welcome to Just Jenna. You have no idea how excited I am that you're here. I'll be sharing the wisdom, questions, and curious little truths I've gathered along the way. From brilliant thinkers to weird memes, from ancient texts to the knowing of nature. Some of what I've learned came from books, some from breakdowns, some from simply paying attention, and some from fumbling through it myself. My hope is that these stories expand you the way that they've expanded me. So maybe, just maybe, you don't have to trip over the same parts of life I did. And if you do trip and fall, it's okay. I won't tell anyone. Hello, you guys. Welcome back. I can't believe you guys are listening. Seriously, I can't even believe it. Thank you so much. I am so excited to talk about my topic today because it's about time and reality and nature and, classic, those types of conversations. But I'm so happy you guys are here. My little chickens, my little baby bears, my bubbling little bees, my extravagant elephants. You know what I mean? I'm just happy you guys are here. I am thrilled because today I want to talk about, I think our modern culture, society, whatever. Our culture is obsessed with linear progress, but reality is not linear. Reality is cyclical. And when you live by a linear model in a cyclical world, you burn out, you abandon things too early, and you lose so much meaning. I believe that wisdom lives in the staying, in the commitment to returning and tending to things. And I want to talk about that with you guys today. I think our modern culture treats life like this straight escalator, if you will, like more productive, more optimized, more impressive, more advanced. It's like hustle culture, grind culture, upgrade and optimize everything culture. And the core messaging underneath all of this is that you're not good enough as you are. You could do better. You could buy better. You could have a more attractive partner, a better paying job, more freedom, a better life somewhere else. And leaving is the symptom of this messaging. Abandoning is the strategy of this messaging because honestly, I think we kind of glorify quitting and pivoting and reinventing and starting over. And I think we quietly shame staying, repetition, routine, and commitment. I just kind of feel like life is framed as like if you're not moving forward, you're falling behind. And I don't know, I just want to honestly, that way of living just feels wrong in my body. I don't know how else to describe it besides that. It just feels wrong in my body. I don't know if it feels wrong for anyone else, but it feels wrong for me and it doesn't feel true. I used to live through that lens though, always trying to do better, always trying to improve, always trying to optimize my way even into peace. But I realized that isn't nature and that isn't reality. All of this only works if you believe that time itself is linear. Like the messaging of hustle culture and grind culture and optimizing and whatever, that only works if you believe that time is linear. Because the linear model assumes that you're always going forward, always improving, always accumulating, always becoming better than before, and it treats your life like a fucking project. Meaning is some outcome that you get, and success is some arrival point. And I just want to offer a different lens. And not because this linear model is evil. I'm not saying it has zero value. I'm just saying it's man-made. Linear time, think about it this way. Linear time is a tool. It is not truth. Linear time is it's a measuring device that humans invented so we could coordinate, so we could build, trade, plan, work. It's useful, but It's not how reality actually moves. Reality moves in cycles. It moves in seasons, circadian rhythms, hormones, growth and decay, death, and rebirth, baby, because nothing essential in nature moves in a straight line. Nothing. Learning works this way too. You don't master something and then leave it behind forever. You return to it again and again, and each time you return to it at a deeper level. Every time you learn something new, it's like you remember something. You have an elevated way of knowing something because you return to it. But our modern culture looks at life through this linear lens because something strange happens when we're applying this linear lens through everything in our life, because you end up at odds with nature. I'm talking about nature around us and the nature that's within us. We are nature. Please get this through your head. If you're not drinking that Kool-Aid, you're not going to drink the rest of this beverage being this episode, because you have to have that awareness. You have to believe this to be true. You have to believe that you are also nature. You have a nature within you. I'm talking about nature. I'm talking about the universe, God, consciousness, whatever you want to call it. It's all one and the same. Nature, it doesn't level up. It just returns. Think about it this way. Winter isn't a failure of summer. Night isn't this regression of a day. Rest isn't a lack of ambition. Decay isn't a mistake. It's part of the rhythm. It's part of reality. And ancient people understood this instinctively. They weren't trying to outperform last year's winter. They were just trying to survive it well, to honor it, to prepare for the next turn of the wheel. And that's completely a different orientation towards life than we have right now. Because it's not this season has to be better than the last one. It's how do we tend ourselves through this season? And I think about this all the time because in modern life, especially in relationships, we're constantly chasing better, like a better partner, a better situation, a better version. And when I say relationships, I'm not just talking about romantic relationships here, people. I'm talking about relationship, like your relationship to any and all things. Because I think what actually creates depth is like this return to. And rituals existed for this reason. They told people, hey, this matters enough to come back to. Think like fire circles, like songs, the same stories, the same movements, same holidays and gestures. They're not repeated for novelty, but they were there for safety, for meeting, for belonging into the body. But our modern culture has completely stripped ritual down, and we've replaced everything with fucking optimization. We traded meaning for metrics. Instead of asking, how did we show up? We say, how did we progress? Instead of saying, did we tend to what matters today? We say, did we improve something today? And I think that's kind of how we're all ended up here with like this low grade fucking exhaustion, this, again, confusion, and this sense that nothing is ever enough. I have felt that way for multiple years of my life, where I felt just confused and that everything that I was doing was never enough, no matter what. And because when everything has to be better than the last time, nothing is ever allowed to simply just be. Like, seasons don't move forward. They're rotating. Like, spring isn't improving into summer. Like, summer is just summer. Spring is just spring. Summer doesn't fail when it becomes fall. Winter isn't like a setback. It's just like, this is just what it is. Like, the planets don't move in a straight line, people. They orbit. The moon doesn't progress towards some fucking completion. It waxes and it wanes, but nothing in nature moves like a straight escalator. But the way that we're looking at our lives, we're acting as if it does. Linear time is a human invention. It's a measuring tool in a coordination system. It's useful, but it's not the truth. I want to do a quick pause here because I'm not talking about some like poetic idea or a spiritual metaphor. A while back, I listened to an episode of The Tim Ferriss Show that was recommended to me by a friend, Julia. Hey, Julia, if you're listening, what's up, sister? But she showed me this episode and it genuinely just like cracked me open. And the episode was with Donald Hoffman. And honestly, I want you guys, if any of this I'm saying is landing for you, I just want to encourage you to look him up yourself. Look him up, look him up on the Tim Ferriss Show. Look him up, Donald Hoffman. He's a cognitive psychologist and a professor of the cognitive sciences at the University of California. He has a PhD from MIT. He studies perception, consciousness, and evolutionary psychology. He's known for a theory that it's honestly kind of radical, but it's pretty compelling to me, but because he argues that reality as we experience it is not objective truth. It's a user interface. So in the same way that like the icons on your phone are not the actual code underneath the system, he explains that the way that we experience time and space is not the deepest layer of reality. Okay, so that's just kind of how reality is rendered so we can function. And I think this is where it gets important here, okay? Because according to Hoffman and according to other modern neuroscience and physics, seriously, time and space, they're not fundamental features of reality. They're interfaces, they're data structures, and they're tools. They're here to exist, or they exist to help us navigate, survive, coordinate, and plan. But they do not exist to tell us the ultimate truth about how reality actually works. The way that we experience time, being like past, present, and future, it's not reality itself. Past, present, and future is assuming that we're looking through the lens of like this linear model of like A to B, up and down, top to bottom, left to right. It's a formatting system. I think it's the way that our brain has evolved to organize itself so that we can move through the world. But consciousness, nature itself, does not inherently move in a straight line. There's no built-in rule that says that life must always move forward. I think that sense of progress and decline, urgency, and then pressure, that feeling that you're either advancing or falling behind, is something that emerges when you look at reality through the linear lens. But I would just want to, like, this linear lens is not inherent to existence, because even physicists are now openly saying things like, hey, space-time had a good run, it worked, but it's not the deepest level of reality. Like, we're learning new information about what it means to exist in the world, right? And this matters because linear time, the model, it works to a certain degree. It works extremely well, actually, for certain things. It really works well for factories. It works for standardization. It works for production and scheduling and measurement. We need clocks so people show up at the same time for work every day. Calendars exist so labor could be tracked. And we needed metrics so output could be compared. But when the invention of this kind of came about, this kind of came so like now time is something that you spend, time is something you save, time is something you waste, time is something you run out of. That framework, again, it's brilliant for systems, but here's the problem. When you take this model that was designed to manage, I'm talking about the linear model, okay? I'm talking when you look at life through the linear model. It was designed to manage factories, and when you apply it to our the human nervous system, okay, like the experience that we're having here, something starts to break because the linear model is functional. It helps us operate. It doesn't describe how reality is actually moving, like how our feelings, like how we exist in this world, like the huge, complex experience that is being alive, being a human being. It cannot be captured in this linear model. Nothing in nature experiences time the way that a spreadsheet does. And so when culture treats that framework as if it's the only truth, not just a tool, your body knows that something is off. And I think this is why I want to be very clear here. What I'm not saying is that linear thinking is bad. I'm not saying that goals are wrong. I'm not saying that planning is unhealthy. I'm just saying that that model is artificial. It's man-made. It's a human interface layered on top of a living cyclical reality. Reality is cyclical. Reality is not linear. It is a tool, okay, but it's not all that there is. So I think that's why, like, if you feel confused, burnout, anxious, exhausted, it's not this personal failure. It's not a lack of discipline. It's your body being nature, you having nature in you. I'm like beating my chest. God damn, I'm fucking feeling myself. But it's your body rejecting a model of time that does not match how life actually works. Because nothing in reality moves in a straight line. So when our culture tells you that your life should, your body can feel the mismatch. It's not a weakness. It's our body's like innate intelligence. But this is where confusion comes from. We have a mismatch between biology and our culture. Linear time became dominant when humans needed standardized. Whoa, let me take a sip of my coffee before I muddle up any more words. This is where the confusion comes from because we have a mismatch between biology and culture. Linear time became dominant when humans needed standardization. Agriculture, then industry, then factories, and now capitalism. Okay? We need all these things to be tracked. Your body knows that there's something off here. Our bodies come from nature. Our bodies move in waves. Energy comes in waves. Creativity has seasons. Relationships deepen through repetition, not novelty. Meaning is built through return. Your body doesn't operate on a constant output. It runs on circadian rhythms and hormonal cycles and sleep and wake cycles and recovery cycles. When you're living in a culture that's always saying, always forward, always better, always more, always faster, your body feels like it's failing, but it's not failing. It's resisting a false model of time. Your body can like smell the lie, or mine can, and I bet yours can too. But I think this is why, like, you guys, I'm just being for real. I love rituals. I love routines. Repetition feels like sacred to me. It makes me happy. Rituals are how humans stay sane inside these cycles. They tell you that, hey, this matters. This matters enough to return to it. You don't need novelty for this to be meaningful. Achievement in a cyclical worldview isn't about permanent arrival. It's about staying in relationship. You don't complete your health, you return to it. You don't finish your craft, you practice it. You don't solve your inner world, you tend to it. You don't outgrow rest, you circle back to it again and again. The problem isn't growth, it's growth without return. Growth without reverence, growth without seasons. I'm not saying to abandon ambition. I'm like a very ambitious individual, but I'm saying ambition needs a container that matches reality, reality being cyclical. Linear goals can exist inside cyclical living, but cyclical living cannot survive inside this like linear obsession. So when you frame life as cyclical, everything meaningful becomes relational, not transactional. And I feel like that's where there's like this mess with, again, I don't know if it's my generation, I don't know if it's others, I can only speak about mine because I only know about mine. But everything just feels so transactional nowadays. And things become meaningful when it's relational. Relationships are not achievements. Jobs are not achievements. Our bodies are not achievements. Creativity is not an achievement. Spirituality is not an achievement. It's an ongoing relationship. And relationships do not thrive on novelty. They thrive on presence. And this culture that we live in is constantly telling you that you need to have better. You need to do better. And novelty. You're not good enough the way that you are. Nope. Gross. Pivot. No. You don't arrive at love, health, purpose, meaning, or security. You stay with them. You return to them. You tend to them. That's, I think, where the meaning is. Gardens, they don't just bloom. Gardens don't just bloom constantly. Fires don't just burn without tending. You don't abandon either at the first dip. Staying is not stagnation. Staying is presence. Staying is devotion. Staying is attention. Staying is an action, not a lack of one. And also, I want to say something quickly here. Because if something is abusive, catastrophic, soul-destroying, leave. Just leave. But that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about staying through discomfort, staying through boredom, staying through the seasons, staying through plateaus. I feel like our culture, it already over-glorifies leaving. I feel like it's like we call avoidance alignment or impatience intuition. One disagreement and a friendship ends. One hard seasons, relationships end. I don't think most people need permission to quit right now. I think a lot of people need permission to stay and to commit to something. I've had an episode about this recently where I'm like, meaning is found in the middle part, right? Because we already know that meaning, it's not found at the finish line. It's built in the middle. We know this. But this is because time is cyclical. Reality is cyclical. It's not linear. You're going to find meaning in the middle part through returning to it, through tending, through staying. Commitment over constant reinvention. Nothing in nature rushes. Nothing in nature is trying to get somewhere else. It returns, it rests, and it comes back when it's ready. I just think we need more voices talking about this, about staying, about commitment. And I'm not talking about the kind of commitment that traps you. I'm not talking about, not the kind that keeps you in something harmful or soul destroying here. But I want to talk about the kind of commitment that says, like, I'm not leaving because this gets uncomfortable. I'm not abandoning this just because it stopped impressing me. I'm not walking away just because this entered a quieter season. Because nature doesn't quit when things get hard. It just adjusts, it conserves, and it tends to what's still alive. I just want to encourage you to stay with something. Stay with something that's not exciting. Stay even when it's not shiny. Even if no one else is clapping for you. The participation is what creates the meaning. The commitment creates depth. And when you stay long enough through seasons, through boredom, through discomfort, it's how something becomes real. You're not behind, you're not late, you're not failing, you're inside of a cycle. So instead of being like, well, what's next? How do I make this better? Maybe the question is, what am I already in a relationship with? What am I being asked to tend to instead of abandon? Because staying is not weakness. Staying is wisdom. I just think nature has been trying to teach us this whole time. And I don't know, you guys. I've really been looking at the messages that I am at least kind of constantly feeling like I'm being bombarded with, specifically with like any type of entertainment, any type of like TV, social media, everything is always like optimize, be better, get something better, throw that away, buy something new, the new. Like, I just think it's trash and garbage. I really do. I think so much of this is trying to constantly tell you that you're not good enough with where you are and that you need to constantly be doing better. And I think it's a bunch of bullshit, to be honest with you, because all of this is just created so you spend money on something. And I just want to, like, you don't have to spend money on all this shit. You don't have to berate yourself. Like, all of these things are just, they're tactics and tools. And the way, if you look through life through the linear lens all the time, you're just missing out, I think, on this super rich wisdom of the mundane, the super rich wisdom of committing to something and not giving up, going through something challenging and coming out on the other end, and then knowing you're probably going to have to do it again. Like, I don't know, I'm thinking about romantic relationships now, and it's like so many people just throw in the towel and give up because we think we have so many options. And like, oh, someone will be easier or more aligned or more perfect or whatever for us, so we'll give up. But in reality, like, it's through the commitment, it's through the discomfort, it's through the relationship with the other that you find meaning. It's not through finding someone better. But I think everyone's like, oh, I'll find a better job, I'll find a better relationship, I'll find a better house, a better place to live, a better shirt, a better book. Like, it's always like better, better, better. When in reality, the thing that we're craving, which is meaning, it's found through the relationship to the thing. It's not found through ditching it and getting something new. Ugh. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But I do know. Something I do know for sure is that the way that we look through life through the linear model of time, that is not the only way to look through things that's created by man. And it was created with good intention to like make things make sense, to make society operate. I'm not saying we need to throw the baby out with the bathwater here, but I am saying if you feel like you're not doing enough, you're probably doing so much more than you actually think. You're just looking at it through the wrong lens. You're looking at it through the lens of fucking capitalism and factories and making money and making things better and scaling, when in reality you're a fucking human being, you're nature. You don't need to scale yourself, you don't need to optimize, you don't need to be doing all of these things. Just keep returning to yourself. That's it. You don't need to optimize yourself. It's just, I think there's so much beauty in commitment. I think there's so much beauty in staying. I think there's so much beauty in not giving up. There's beauty in the seasons. Not every season is like this beautiful summer bloom or this curated feed of whatever. It's all just bullshit, okay? You guys. Again, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I just feel like everyone is like, you want more freedom. There's a better life somewhere else. But I'm like, is it? Is it? Because that's not what the trees are doing outside. It's definitely not what the birds are talking about. And I, for one, I think they're smarter than we are. Again, I want to say one more thing. I'm not saying that you need to stay when something is like catastrophic or abusive or like genuinely painful. I'm really not talking about that. But I am talking about the discomforting part about life, which is like, oh, it's not awesome all the time. I'm talking about that with relationships or jobs or people, places, and things. Like, I want to encourage people to like go through that, to not give up, to see what's on the other side of that, and to keep doing it. But again, obviously, if something is abusive or it's like destroying your soul, fucking leave. Fucking take your shit and go. I want to make sure that that's not getting lost here. Take your shit and go. If it's destroying your soul, leave. But I think a lot of times people are leaving because they think something else is better, when in reality, it's probably not true. But anywho, you guys, I can't even believe people listen to me talk. And I don't really know if this one had much advice. I don't really know what this was. I guess I just was having a conversation with a friend the other day about all of this, and I don't know. It inspired me. And I kind of want to talk about myself quickly. Just quickly. No, I don't. I like do, but I don't. Maybe there is a reality. Hear me out, people. Hear me out. There is a reality where I talk, like, where I chat about my personal life a little bit. Just a little bit. I don't know. But for right now, since I haven't made up my mind before I started recording, I'm not going to. I'm just going to sign it off here. But with that being said, I love you guys so much. You're all just the sweetest, cutest, most magnificent little creatures. And don't forget that you are a creature. You are a little creature. You're a part of nature. Don't forget it. You're not some scalable machine that needs to be optimized. You're a beautiful little goofy weirdo that has the same intelligence as the trees and the stars and the birds and the birds and the bees, baby. Come on. That lives inside you as well. Okay, don't forget it. Don't you even dare forget it. Okay, I love you guys, and I will see you next Tuesday.